So we have been talking about the word metamorphosis recently. And metamorphosis just is a big fancy word for a change or a transformation that an insect goes through. All insects go through metamorphosis. Butterflies go through metamorphosis, and frogs go through metamorphosis. And it simply means that they are changing from one thing to another. So this is a story about this bright beetle who goes through metamorphosis. It's going to tell me the life, it's going to tell us the life of the beetle, the ladybug. And it's by Rick Krastowski. For ladybug lovers everywhere. At the end of summer, when the grass turns golden, the meadow hums with buzzing insects. A shiny ladybug zips past a bumblebee and catches hold of the stem of a black-eyed Susan. This flower is called a black-eyed Susan. The ladybug climbs into the cool shadow under the flower petals and lays 9 yellow eggs. Can you count them with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 yellow eggs. Very good. Then she lifts her wings and flies away, leaving her young behind to care for themselves. For several days, the eggs are safely hidden. Then one morning, they turn white. It's time for them to hatch. One by one, tiny ladybug larvae break through the eggshells. Immediately hungry, they scurry off in all directions looking for food. But one egg remains unhatched. Finally, it wiggles. Then it jerks. The end splits open and out squirms the last little larva. With all her strength, she pulls her body free. Instinctively, she nibbles an aphid near her eggshell. But just one isn't enough for this appetite, though. Here is the larva, and she crawls out. This is the aphid that she tries to eat, or that she does eat. But she's very, very hungry. That means she has a really big appetite. So she needs to look for more food. By dawn, the larva has eaten 15 of the little green pests, those little green aphids. Her skin feels tight. She has already outgrown it. She attaches her hind end to the bottom of a leaf and hangs down. Here she is. The old skin splits apart along her back, and then the larva, wearing a larger and more colorful skin that has been growing underneath, wiggles out. Eventually, her head and legs become glossy black in the sunlight. The larva is now a fierce purple and orange predator. She hunts for aphids, these little green bugs, and gobbles them up one after another. Over the next several days, she sheds her skin 2 more times. Here she is. One morning, she discovers a cluster, that means a group of aphids, massed together at the base of a leaf. She crawls into the middle of the aphids and begins to feast. Unfortunately, there is time to only eat a few.
What's that noise?
I don't know. I think the dog bumped the door. Uh-oh. What's coming? What do you think this is?
He's coming.
He's coming. What do you think he is? No, Mommy's going to hold the book.
Look, he's coming.
He's coming. Let's see what he is. Oh, without warning. Wait. Mommy's going to read it.
Look, what's this?
It's an ant. These are ants.
Let me hold it.
Okay, sit right here in my lap. Okay, wait, we gotta show the book to them. Without warning, sharp jaws pinch her side. Then they bite her leg. The larva tucks her head under her body and thrusts the sharp bristles covering her back. These are the sharp bristles, into the air. Like a pack of wolves, ants attack her from all sides. It's their job to protect the aphids from danger. They like to eat the sweet honeydew that aphids expel while feeding on the plant juices. See this sweet juice here? So they like to eat that. So because the aphids make that, the ants will protect the aphids. So they don't want the beetle larva to eat the aphids. The ants quickly chase the larva. Tyler, stop. The ants quickly chase the larva up the flower stem, nipping at her the whole way. Then they rush back down to stand guard over their aphid herd. Luckily, the larva is not hurt. Her bristles are a strong shield against ant attacks. When she reaches the top, the larva finds a smaller group of unguarded aphids, and she devours, that means eats, as many as her stomach can hold. The next afternoon, the larva climbs onto a flower petal. As she sheds her skin one final time, it is pushed down into folds. The larva now looks completely different. She is covered by a hard orange pupa with bumps and black spots. Inside this pupa, the larva transforms. She develops wings on her back. One pair will be the strong shell that covers her second, more delicate pair of wings underneath. Her entire body is outfitted in a tough insect armor. There she is. She's a pupa now. So she went from an egg to a larva to a pupa. After 5 days, she is ready to leave the pupa. She leans way back and then forward and back again. The walls loosen all around. With one final push, the pupa breaks open. Shining in the sunlight is a splendid little beetle that crawls into the world. At first, her shell is pale and soft, but the fresh air soon begins to harden it. Here she is. She's very pale. But wait, what happens? Look, the sun hardens her shell. The ladybug climbs down the flower stem onto a leaf and spreads her crumpled wings to dry them, just like the butterfly had to do. Tyler, please not right now. Over a couple of hours, her shell becomes bright and fiery red. It sends a message to her enemies. Don't eat me or you'll be sorry. Nearby, a praying mantis watches with powerful green eyes. He is not worried by bright colors or flashy warnings, at least not when dinner is within his reach. He readies his claws and waits patiently. Here, go sit down and play with your toys over here, please. When the ladybug's wings are as stiff as paper, she is ready to fly. She flaps them, whir, 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 and she pushes hard against the air. Her body feels lighter as it lifts into the sky. For the first time in the ladybug's life, her tiny feet leave the flower where she was born. Flying is such a wonderful new experience. She doesn't notice the praying mantis moving closer. He blends into the tall grass so well. What do you think is going to happen? Is the praying mantis going to try to eat the ladybug? What do you think, Tyler?
They eat the ladybug?
Oh no, just then, like a flash of lightning, the praying mantis reaches out and catches the ladybug from the air. He brings her up to his mouth, but before he can take a bite, the ladybug has time for one defense. A bitter orange fluid. See, this bitter orange fluid oozes out of her legs, and the praying mantis gets a drop of it in his mouth and is so shocked by the nasty, yucky taste that he drops his prey immediately.
No. What's this?
It's a piece of trash. So it was so nasty and yucky that he dropped the ladybug. The ladybug falls to the leaf. She lands on her back and holds her body stiff. She doesn't move a muscle. The praying mantis might think she's dead, but he is hungry and determined. He readies his claws and reaches for her again. Suddenly, a dragonfly flutters in front of him. The praying mantis swivels his head to watch it. He cannot resist the flapping wings. The ladybug watches as her attacker turns and follows his new victim into the tall grass. Maybe the next time he meets a beetle with a bright red shell, he will remember the terrible taste and think twice about eating it. Sure that the praying mantis is gone, the ladybug flips onto her feet and crawls to the edge of the leaf. Her strong shell saved her from any real injury. Cautiously, she looks around, raises her wings, and flies off of the flower. Later that night, frost settles on the meadow. Many insects, including aphids, do not survive the cold. The ladybug is affected too. The cold makes it difficult for her to move her muscles. She warms them the next morning by sitting in the sun. Her flight is clumsy at first, but in time it becomes more controlled. She passes a butterfly, sipping nectar deep inside of a flower. She sees a grasshopper chewing a blade of grass. Do you see the grasshopper? Yep, very good. She knows it's time to say goodbye to summer and find a sheltered place to hide for the winter. An old rotting branch at the foot of a birch tree looks inviting. The ladybug climbs through a hole in the bark and down into the comforting darkness of the decaying wood. A small group of ladybugs is already there. She joins the others, and huddled together, they sleep. All winter long, harsh winds whip across a thick blanket of snow. Deep inside the log, the ladybug rests quietly and waits for spring to come. When the warm sun melts the snow, the ladybug will lay her egg on an aphid-covered plant, and a new generation of beetles will brighten the meadow, and the cycle of life begins again. There they are, huddled under the bark of the wood. So they hibernate. The insects hibernate, like we've read about other animals hibernating. The end.